Hello. We're back, but we're back briefly. We just want to stop in and we wanted to tell you what was the judge verdict about the bond. The bond was denied. Um, it was denied from what I understand because Cassie and I guess the other lady, Jane, were saying that they were afraid and that he was violent and da. Those things. However, I think it's all good. Why? Because sometimes when a person get what they want to hold back on something else.
Okay.
And if, in my opinion, if the women felt they was afraid, I don't understand that. I don't understand. You got 30, 20 million out of the deal.
Mhm.
Jane was still getting her money paid.
Yep.
I don't get it, but that's okay. And why is that okay? Because I pulled out two cards.
Yes, we did.
One of the cards was the 10 of Cups, which is a victory card, a celebratory card. And there was the 2 of Pentacles. I said 2 of Pentacles. There was wavy. The cards don't lie. That it was wavy. That it could be Diddy. It's not 100%.
Yeah.
But it was a waviness because they denied the bail. They didn't want the money. And it was the money. They didn't want it. And they did it, I believe, because there are a lot of people in media that was very disturbed by the fact that he didn't get life.
Yes.
A lot of people were upset about that, like news anchor people, CNN, and all of those like people of the news. They were, what was it, CBS?
Yes, CBS.
Was very disappointed. However, it's still a victory. Why? He did not get life.
No.
They are still trying to get this man 10 years. Now, for me, do I think he's going to get 10 years? No. And why? Because if you let him out, which is a good thing, which he will be out, the family walked out the court after hearing the judge verdict. They were cheering. They were happy.
They were.
Most of them were happy. They were happy. They were cheering his mother. They were good. It's going to work in his favor. Why? Because they said what he was charged on, it should have never been held in the court that he was in.
Yes.
It should have been held in a domestic violence, one of the courts, they said, across the street. So I guess the courts that deal with domestic violence and violence, things like that, I suppose. However, yes. Baby Clone, I know you was out. Baby Clone went to get something to eat.
I sure did.
So we had to wait for her to come back. And as I got snug as a bug in the rug in my bed, as I told you, the sleep began to fall down and rain on me. So, but I'm up and we're here. And so I'm not surprised that they did not bail.
No, but honestly, I don't know why they're waiting so long to sentence him.
I think they said on the next week on the 8th, was it? So is that next Thursday?
Yes.
Is that next Thursday? And that's when the judge is going to render his sentence.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, okay. And they're going to render it. And people are still saying they want this man. Excuse me.
Sorry.
We were just talking about you, boo, Bam.
That was my cat meowing in the background.
Oh, she drained now.
Okay. A picky little thing she is for sure.
So anyway, where did I leave off?
Talking about how people are hoping that what people are hoping that's going to happen for this 8th.
People
July 8th.
want this man to fry. I don't want anyone to fry if it isn't about a red room.
Sure.
Switched it back around. You remember from the movie The Shining Red Room.
Classic.
If he wasn't, if he, it's not that. Um, another thing that I'm a little curious about.
Okay.
They said they wasn't going to use the tape. That was 10 years ago or whatever. It's outdated, but yet they charged him based on that tape.
Yes,
Lets me know that they had really nothing but that tape. However, he got 2 charges out of 5, and 2 of them were a minor case, I think.
Yes.
However, it's his first defense. And I think if they, like, I guess it would have just shook up people, in my opinion, if they would have let him go free today. Like I said, we don't have a horse in this race at all. So I feel like victorious for him. I feel as though he's not going to do life. He's already did almost a year. I think this September make a year. And I think that he's going to get out. I think that I believe that he may do a year or so, or the president may give him a pardon.
Yeah, especially as the way the case is gone.
The way the case is gone, as far as I still feel as though
I have no idea.
The defense had a major loss. And in the end, he is victorious. I said, and Baby Cone said, that he will do some time. I mean, it's no way around that. It's just no way. But as we said, right, but as he said, if it's 10 years, I don't think he's going to do not for this. It was his first defense. I guess so. The defense wouldn't look so shamefaced. They pleaded, they wrote letters, please, he's a danger. If he was a danger, he would have fled when I told him then.
He has to flee.
Why are you coming back here when this is facing you? Had it been me, I would have left. They had nothing on him.
No.
Nothing. Right? But he did the right thing. He doesn't seem like he's been a problem in prison. He has been denied.
From the beginning.
All this time, they denied this man bail over something he didn't do. What they charged him with.
You're right. Still no bail.
Still no bail. And they may look at him as a flight risk. I don't get it. He has too much to lose.
He do.
They could freeze his accounts. They could do a lot where he can't get his money. So no, I don't think that. I really still think it's a victory. I don't think that Diddy feel. I know he knows it's a victory, but I know that he's probably heartbroken.
Yes.
And I know that he knew that this is coming up, like I believe that he knew it was a 50-50. They said when he, I think, was rendered his sentence or whatever way it went, I could have nodded on that. But they said he fell to his chair.
Yes, I've seen that drawing of him leaning on the chair like this.
I think he was sobbing. But at the end of the day, I think he got a good deal. I really do. He is not going to do 20 years. Not for this. Not for his first defense. They held that man in prison on trumped up charges that the DA couldn't. Isn't that what it is? The defendant. What they call him?
The defense.
The defense could not defend. And so he got 2 case charges. What was it again, Baby Cone?
It was an account for Cassie and Jane of transportation and prostitution. And
they're saying they're afraid, he can hurt us. I don't think y'all are worth his time in prison. At least that's how I would feel if I was him. And this is not about me taking up for Diddy. I'm just for the law. However, do I think this man should do life? No.
Well, he doesn't even have that on the table.
Not for this crime. Not for what he is charged with. Had it been Red Room, it would have been a different thing. But this is not what this is about. So
Mhm.
I'm staying focused. No, it's pretty much what was it?
Yeah,
Prostitution.
prostitution. Queenie had commented, honestly, I think somebody asked Cassie to write the letter. She met up with him 2 years after she was married.
Uh-huh.
So
She
we
was
found
still
out.
seeing him
Mhm.
actually. Yeah.
And then Queenie also said she has 30 million to move anywhere in the world and hire security. I know
But
that's right.
just what's on the record, they said that she too was cruel and a madam and was a beast. And the male
it.
prostitutes, I know a one, maybe two, are coming after to take her and get and sue her
Yeah.
for some of that $30 million or 20. It was either 20 or I had 20, I had 30. Either way, that's a lot of money I probably would see in my lifetime, unless somehow I win the lottery. But you got to play to win.
She said, personally, Cassie needs to worry about the spiritual karma she is going to face.
Yeah.
It came out in the trial she was a prostitute before she met Diddy.
Really? I heard her mother was in that life.
Oh, okay.
Now I don't know how true it is, allegedly, but I heard her mother was in that life. As a matter of fact, I even heard that her mother sent her back to Diddy for the money. That none of this shocks me. When I think of R. Kelly, how these women and mothers was in it, I would never prostitute my child.
No.
Never, ever, ever. Unless we were starving on the street, begging bread. And I would try to sell myself before I want them to take her.
Facts.
I would sell myself before I let them touch my baby. She may not be a baby to you, but she's my baby. And I love her. You know, and anyone else saying anything else?
And then Queenie, thank you for all the comments.
Thank you, Queenie.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Thank
Queenie's
you.
also a Virgo. It says
Virgo,
Queenie the Virgo.
Virgo.
Yes.
Love Virgos. I was born in the house of Virgo.
Your sister Bonnie was a Virgo.
The sixth house. As a matter of fact, my sister Bonnie, who I named the tarot after,
yes.
Was a Virgo.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, all in the cards is a Cancer, and my rising sign is a Cancer. That's why we have that spiritual connection like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but the cards did say that it would be this way, that it would be earthly, it would be monetary, and they denied it. So I knew it had something to do with money.
Emotional.
And that it would be emotional, and that it's topsy-turvy, and that Diddy was worried about that. The cards don't lie.
No.
But because that 10 a cup, that too is an emotional card. But I believe he's going to get out early. Now, I don't know if early means a year.
Right.
I don't know if early means 3 months. I don't know if early means next week when he's sentenced.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was denied bail because the girls was afraid.
Yes, they were.
And why would you be afraid if you was honest? You got enough money, like Queenie said, you have enough money to buy security. Why would you be afraid? When you stand on principles and you stand honest, then you walk with your head up high.
Sure.
So like I said, everybody told their side of the story, but Diddy, the solid one of the party. He ratted no one out. He said nothing. He dealt with it, and I'm sure that I believe with that 2 of Pentacles is a bittersweet moment.
Yes.
Because you can't deny the turbulence in the background, the ship, all of that. But everything was above water. So I truly believe that he is going to get out. I don't, even if they gave him 10 years, I do not believe he's going to do 10 years. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Not for his first defense, based on women that was those were his lovers who he had parties. And they said that fight in the hallway when he beat her up, which was a tragedy. A travesty. I can't deny that. However, she didn't lose an eye.
No.
She didn't lose no teeth. They didn't show no pictures of her with a black eye.
No.
With bruised bodies. It wasn't that. I've seen somebody get beat up by a man. And if a man beat you, I think he hit her. I believe he hit her, maybe knocked her around. But believe me, if he wanted to, he could have really left her damaged goods.
Yes.
But he didn't. No. And I'm not taking up for any man. And I'm just saying, because I've seen it with my mom. A man can beat you, but they beat you to hurt you, but not to scar you. You know, I can kick you, but not to break a bone. Not one bone was broken, and people are saying he beat her to a pulp. No, darling. No, darling. That is not beat to a pulp. I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying how words can go out and how they can express. I'm not denying what happened to her. Please believe me. But to say he beat her to a pulp, I don't know about you, but a pulp.
That wasn't a pulp.
That was not a pulp. He dragged her, he kicked her, he ain't throw her against. I mean, I'm not justifying it, but I don't like it when they say he beat her to a pulp.
Nah.
A pulp is like a peach and a seed, and that's a pulp to me. Yes. And it's wrinkled all up.
All mango, can't tell what it is.
No. Pulp is when somebody hit you and break your nose and disfigure your face. A pulp is you got black eyes. You can't get up. Nails broken. Have to go to the emergency room and stay a couple of days. No, this was silent. She never reported it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't have no broken brick. Sometimes things can, and I'm only saying this because of my mom. Sometimes things could look way worse than what it is. And I think that's one of them. And so for her to say that she's scared to go home, I'm not saying she's not, but I wouldn't. Not with 20 million or 50, 30 million. No, but I'm sure she don't have that now. But not with that kind of money. Yeah. No, with Jane, if I was him, I wouldn't pay not another dime to you. Nothing. I'm sorry. And this is not because I'm on the Diddy side. I'm just really honestly being honest. That's why he didn't make bail. The card said that was a big possibility. Remember, redhead, he was juggling. He was on one foot. The card, I saw that is definitely possible. What else? So the cards did not, but the cards say he is coming home. And for that, I truly believe that he will be getting out earlier. He's not going to do his full time. I'm not going to pull a card for that. I'm just saying, I just believe that. What else, babe? What you got to say?
Yes. Two viewers have to have a whole conversation while we was chit-chatting. They was talking about how first off,
and you can call in if you like,
yes,
and
it's right down there.
That would just be
however
lovely.
Sharon had said, hey y'all.
Hey Sharon, welcome to our station.
It says this Diddy thing is something. Queenie, you are right about the Abercrombie CEO was let out from what I understood. And then I had to go back.
So that's the one that worked for Diddy that was the manager?
I'm not quite sure. However, I scrolled back and apparently Queenie had said that they had let out the Abercrombie Fitch CEO.
What's that? Let's talk to me.
And I don't know about this case, but I know Abercrombie and Fitch is a clothing.
Oh, this is a whole nother situation.
Yes, but he had to go to a trial case as well. I'm sorry, I have my cat's hair all over my face. And it says that the Abercrombie Fitch CEO was let out after 1 hour and he was charged for sexual assault and drugging over 100 men, and he was let go.
Really? I don't know anything about what thank you.
Yeah, we definitely gotta
I'm
look
going
into
to
that.
be following this because I've
Mhm.
been so caught up in the Diddy. I am going to definitely, now that this is behind us, we will be back and we will convene on Tuesday. And when anything about this, until he is sentenced, I'd like to do it live. But go ahead, tell me about this
Oh,
case.
I have to look more into it. And then here, Sharon
Is it
had
on?
said,
Is it on? Is it on TV?
I don't know. I would have to look into it. I haven't heard
Is
of it.
Queenie there? Who just
Yes.
made that statement?
Queenie did.
Queenie, is how can we get caught up in this?
Mhm.
I wish she could call in and tell us more.
Yes.
Really?
And then Sharon said, glad to be here. I saw your Trump video saying he would win. And I saw your video on Diddy, on point readings.
Thank you, Miss Barney.
Yes, for sure. And then Queenie said he has been out on bail since September.
And he did all that?
Yeah.
He how many men?
100.
And what did he do to them?
Sexual assault and drugging.
And he won his case?
Yeah, apparently he's out on bail.
So Diddy could have got out on bail.
Yes. I guess that's what the comparison that they was making.
Who is that? These or just the news?
No, Queenie had made the comparison.
Isn't it ironic?
It is ironic.
Is this a white male?
Probably.
Because isn't it out? I don't know no black man that's wrong. What's the last name?
Abercrombie.
Amber. I don't know no black name Abercrombie, but it could be. But isn't it ironic how this is what I say to people?
Yes, he's white, Queenie said.
A lot of black male get the bad shaft, the bad deal, a bad deal. Didn't I say that?
Yes.
And this is why I don't like the unfairness. It's just unfair. And so he drugged 100 men. And what about women? What did he do with them? He drugged them. He had sexual relations
with them.
And what else?
I don't know. I guess
he must be a pretty attractive man to draw these men in. My God. You know, and Diddy got his 2 women and a few others that he had. But nevertheless, his mother left feeling victorious.
That's true.
So it's going to work in his favor. But right now, I think because what I see, this is my opinion. I'm just going to leave blacks alone right now. But from what I see, so many white people are livid.
That's true.
White women are livid. And black women are livid that this man got that. They don't care about the law. They don't care. They just saying he's a red room. He deserve it. Everybody, and this is what I feel. And honestly, I would feel like this about anybody because one thing, I want to be fair. I just want to be fair. And I wish everyone had a fair chance. But after hearing about this guy,
yes,
I didn't even know.
No.
And so, but they gave him a lesser chance and kept him in after he done did almost a year. But this guy gets out.
Yes.
Is his trial over? Oh yeah, he's out on bail.
Yes.
So they could have let Diddy go out on bail.
They really could.
They could have. They could have. But they're going to come back Tuesday and they're going to give him his sentence. We will come live. Once we know, we will be live and let you know if they don't cancel or postpone. We will let you know what's up with that. So this sad.
Yeah.
I will definitely look into this one. What else we have?
Wow, really? How old is this former CEO? I just looked into it, and what I just saw right here is former Abercrombie CEO ruled unfit to stand trial for sex trafficking.
Why was he unfit?
Because apparently he has dementia and is seen as mentally
But they didn't put him in no kind of facility, but sent his crazy self back out in the world. Okay. See what I'm saying? It's not fair.
No, that didn't even sound right.
It's just not fair. It's just, that's all I'm saying. It's not fair. And I don't believe for one billion that Diddy is going to go and mess with them. Not today, not next week, not next month, maybe a year or two when all this has died down and nobody's thinking about it. Because if you're going to put a hit on somebody, y'all do it when you least expect it, where you don't even think it's me. I wouldn't do anything. So, and I think he paid Cassie, because I think he paid her because he felt bad. And I think people don't agree with that, but I do. I think he paid her because the secret was out.
Yes.
I thought that was guilt. And I truly believe he was sorry about that. Now, when it first came out, I didn't feel that way. I felt like he was a crudball. He needs to get what he get. I just all saw my mom when I was a little girl being beat up by my father. And she didn't go to the hospital, but he whipped her he yanked the phone out the wall. He had an extension cord. He whipped her with it. He threw her on the bed. She was fighting, but she couldn't win. He choked her. He hit her, slapped her around. Actually, as a little girl, I was in so much shock. I've never seen anything like that. I think I was 5 years old. I was four, almost going on 5. Yep. Or I could have been 5. But I had never seen anything like that. I knew my dad wasn't coming home at night, but I didn't know that he was. I mean, I know he wasn't there, but my little mind didn't think my dad ain't coming home. Right. I'm asking my mom, where's dad? And she would just say, I don't even know what she said, but she probably would have said, he's working, or just something you tell a little kid to set their minds at ease. Yeah, I remember the last memory I have of this incident is that we had no food, and I was real sensitive because I was hardly allergic. And I remember for breakfast we had rotten peaches in the refrigerator, and I remember my mom cutting off the rotten pieces of the peaches that we could eat, have something to eat. And I remember her fixing us this dish that I hate. I don't know if anybody ever heard of it, but God bless the child. It was rice, sugar, and milk. And what she would do is she had pet milk, and she would take that pet milk and pour half in like what do you call a pitcher, and half with water, and she would pour it over the cereal. And I hated it. I hated rice, sugar, and milk. I hated it. And we would have rotten peaches. I remember that. And or we would have cornflakes and have put the sugar over top, and this warm pet milk would pour over top of it. But I remember those days. I remember us sitting down, and when the lights were out, we had a bad thunderstorm, and we were all sitting around, my mom and my siblings. We were babies, little kids, and it was thundering and lightning, and my mom was holding the baby, and the lights went out, and we were sitting in the living room, and my mother had said to us, because we were so afraid, and my mom said, say Gus in the net, Gus in the net. And I asked, and when I got older, I said, where'd you get that from? She said she got it from Leave It to Beaver.
Oh, okay.
Gus in the net. And I said, what did it mean? She said, I don't know. I think it just meant something to comfort you. And I remember her giving us the Lord, she gave us the 23rd Psalm, and this is what it sounded like. It was, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Bless this day. And that was during a thunderstorm. And to this day, no lie, I enjoy a good old thunderstorm.
Oh, okay.
We would sit down when you was little and just watch the lightnings come. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And even now when it thunders, I like to stay away from electricity, because when I lived in North Carolina, I was at the computer and a lightning bolt came and struck the computer. I didn't know it could, because they said windows are safe. I don't know, but it came and it struck the computer. And ever since then, I realized that stuff my grandma said, Turn off the electricity. A storm is coming. Where am I going with this? I'm going to justify why I said how bad was the beating.
Mm-hmm.
I can only go by what I experienced as a kid. And I'm saying that a man can beat a woman. And I'm not saying, and it could look like he's wearing her out, but he don't bust her face up. He don't break a bone. But she's sore and all of that and hurt. He dragged her, and sometimes it looked worse than what it is. My mom did not have a black eye. It was horrible. It was horrible. When I saw that, when I saw Diddy drag Cassie down the hall, honestly, that's where my mind went. I hadn't thought of that story. It was so far away from me. And when I saw that, all of that came to the surface. And I remembered it like yesterday. So, but now when I see her saying things like writing a letter, please, we scared, we this, he's going to get out. Then what?
True.
So he should stay in prison because you're afraid. Okay. Yeah. I don't know fear like that. I've seen my mother get beaten, not a cop was called. That's all I'm saying. And in my life, I've seen women get beat by men, no cops were called at all. So and I'm not and they didn't look like they've been beat up,
right?
Other than their eyes were swollen from crying. But I didn't see it. But that's all I'm saying to say why I feel the way, because I have been a victim, not myself, but I've seen my mom. And this is why I don't take as much pity. As bad as it was, my mom, that was the last I saw my dad. My dad, after a few days, they had came, moved all our furniture out. We were kicked out our apartment. And my grandfather, about 2 days later, came and took us, and we lived with my grandmother from that day until I was grown. My grandmother and my grandfather. The house of Good Shepherd, where everybody went to who marriages didn't break up. My grandmother was the type of grandmother, if her children had a home, they always had a sanctuary to go to. And that's the kind of mother I would be. I am. My child will always have a house, a home with me. So that's why I just wanted to clear up why I don't have that kind of sympathy, because they could have left. They kept going back. My mom left. All our stuff was plundered. They took everything, everything. And my mom left and never looked back. As a matter of fact, my mom was so afraid to go out on her own. We stayed living in my grandmother's house. So I had a grandmother, my mom, and my aunt. I lived with 3 women after that at the age of 5. That's my story. And so when I think of them, forgive me I just hope that it just gives you an idea of, I've seen it, domestic abuse. And I know how ugly it is. And I'm saying these girls, they may have been physically abused. They may have been mentally abused, but they could have gotten out and they chose not to. And I say that because my mom left with nothing. We didn't even have any I don't think we had Pampers at the time, but my mom didn't even have Pampers. She left with just diapers. I don't think we had clothes. They took everything. And we had a nice apartment and nice stuff. And my father was in the military. And it just seemed like those military back in those days in the 60s and 70s were mean.
Yeah, very frightful times.
Yeah. So, and I think that Diddy come from a very abusive background. I mean, when they did his documentary, They had said that he would get beat up in school. His mom would dress him and he would wear the finest, and people were jealous. And that's what I heard. And he lived in New York. When I was coming up, New York was like a scary place. It was like, it's bad in New York. It wasn't a place you wanted to live. That's what it was for me when I grew up, because we lived nowhere from New York. So
yes. Angel said, Angel said, that's good. My sister-in-law has stayed in an abusive relationship for many years. 14.
Wow.
It's her decision.
And she loved him.
Just like Cassie stayed in it for 11
And
years.
what about this Jane?
Yep, who was still in it even
and still
after.
reaping the benefits. And that's the one who he was paying the $10,000 for her rent. This is what I'm saying. So a lot of times people say, you're heartless. I'm not heartless. I just seen abuse from another degree. What's her name?
Angel.
You understand what I'm saying? You don't get it. My mom left. That was the first time I ever seen them. They probably was fighting, but I never seen it. The first time I seen it.
Model there.
Say that again.
I said your mom was a good role model there.
She was a good role model. And even now, if I was in an abusive relationship, I'm out. But I don't know if I would be so quick to leave if I was making a lot of money. If I had a nice
apartment, how bad the beatings are. I said, I guess it would determine how bad the beatings are.
Me, I would have walked the line. And knowing me, I would have negotiated.
Oh, okay.
I would have said, maybe I wouldn't have. Okay, but I would have I wanted to use condoms. I don't think that I would want anybody to go into me bare skin.
I think that was Diddy's thing.
That I don't care who think. You're not going to pollute that thing in me. Don't know where you've been, how you've been, and who you've been. So that I don't get, even to this day. Two things would have stopped me for sure, and that would have been pregnancy, because I was petrified for a very long time to have a baby, because my mom scared us to death. If you have a baby, it's going to be painful. You don't want it. You're going to get morning sickness. You got and if you get pregnant, you're going to have to get up out of here, because we can't have no. So getting pregnant and where I grew up in my home, that was like red room. You would be shaking. If you thought you was pregnant, you'd be like this.
I bet.
No lie. And you know how grandma is. No. So, no. You do what you gotta do, but don't bring no babies up in here. You bring a baby, get the hell out. That's how I was. So I don't know. So when people stay, it speaks volumes. And sometimes people stay flimsy reasons, but it's a reason, because they need the money, or they're afraid. Now, when my mom moved back home to her mom, we used to beg her, mom, please, let's leave. And my mother was a social worker, and my mother was scared to leave. She wanted that security. By the time my mom left my grandma's house and my grandfather, I was well in my 20s. And the only reason why my mom left, because my grandmother had died and my grandfather had another woman, and they didn't particularly care about her. And so he kicked them out. I guess she could have stayed, but he made it unbearable. And because they wanted the house to themselves, it was a 6-bedroom house with a den, a basement, and it had 3 bathrooms. I was telling you, it was a row home in the city, but it was a big row home. They don't even make them I guess they do, but it was a big row home with 6 bedrooms, right?
Yeah.
And now, as a matter of fact, after all these years, that house has done caught a fire last year. Someone was in there smoking
Isn't it weird how that
crack a
just
lack.
happens?
Someone was in there smoking crack a lack, and she had, what do you call those things that you're not supposed to have when people have
an
oxygen tank, and they didn't know. And from what I understand, they lit and whatever got in, it blew up, and they barely made it out alive. But the girl that had the oxygen tank died. So I wouldn't want to live in that house if you paid me. A beautiful home in the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is why if I seem hard, no, I just know you can leave.
Yes, you can.
I don't know how. I just
You'll
know
find a way.
You'll find a way, put one foot in front of the other, and walk on out that door.
Even if you got a plan, scheme,
even if you got a plan, scheme, all that money you were getting, you mean to tell me you couldn't save? No, but instead of you thinking maybe I need to downsize, you want to pay $10,000 for a home or mortgage or an apartment, whatever. It's no way. So I don't get it. Do I make sense in what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so this is why I feel the way I feel. It's not personal. It's just that don't tell me that you can't get up and walk out with nothing. And I think at the end, that's what it was all about. But I was shocked to hear that she was married, had a baby, and still seeing Diddy. Didn't know that.
So she was definitely down for that life.
And now you scared.
Right. And apparently her husband must not have been doing it for her.
Or maybe your husband didn't know.
Exactly. Well, it probably wasn't pleasing her like she liked. She's like, man, I gotta get to them freak offs. I need it right.
Then now she has what, 3 children?
Yep.
So 3 children and $30 million allegedly. What else they saying? I just wanted to say that because I get a lot of flack from people, but don't tell me. And my mom was scared, but she walked and never looked back. So don't tell me it can't be done.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. So if I'm a little hard on them, these are my reasons. It's not personal. I just know if there's a way in a situation, there's a way out of it. And now, after all these years, you are afraid of what? Of what? All the times he could have taken you out, he didn't.
Exactly.
All the times he could have disfigured you, burnt you. I'm talking about women that has been abused. I mean, I'm not saying they wasn't abused. Right. I'm talking about not just mentally. I'm talking about where you got, where when they see you, when someone calls for help, that the police have to call 911 because you have been battered, beaten to a pulp. But when I hear these white women say, he beat her to a pulp. No. I've seen it. And even though my dad beat my mom, it was not, and it was tremendous. It was horrible. So I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying the words they use. And a lot of these white women are livid. I guess that buck is off the street.
Yeah.
Get that black buck off the street.
Yeah, that's how
and
they
yet
feel.
Here you got a white man done sodomized men, drugged them, but nobody talks about that.
Nope.
This is what I'm saying.
But they'll talk about Tyler Perry.
You see, and it's not that I'm for them or against them. I'm just saying, you see the fairness of it all. That's my beef. That's my beef. And what is even worse, I gotta say it, don't hate me. It's just my opinion. And I hate it when I see a lot of Black people knowing this. They put that video out there to turn our hearts cold towards him.
100%.
I didn't know that at the time. But after things started coming out, now I'm like, oh, because I was a hater. I hated him for a while. Well, I didn't like him for a while. I used to call him Kaiser So, say, look at my videos. Yes. Look at my videos. And now it's just that when the case started coming and I wasn't hearing anything, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just didn't understand. I didn't see it. I just didn't see it.
Still don't
And
see it.
still don't see it. But and the only two cases had to do with those two women.
Yes.
And how do you if we're in a relationship and I call you and I say I need some money, and we're going to say we're going to do one of these freak offs, and I'm like, I'm down, you know, and I go and get my little 10,000, 20,000, whatever. I get the fanciest clothes of all. I get to wear high fashion. I get to go on yachts and go and travel and live a vida loca. I guess that's hard to give up when you got daddy taking care of you. You know?
It's true.
You know, my mother used to tell me, she's an older woman. My mother's about 84 now. And my mother would say, don't accept no wooden nickels. And I used to be like, do you have wooden nickels? What is a wooden nickel? Like I didn't know. But my point is that when I look at this case, this is why I stand the way I stand. And even now, even if he did 10 years, I will not be angry because I think he's better than blessed. And if he didn't go home today, that's fine because you're not looking at the rest of your days.
That's true.
The most you'll do if be 5 years. If that, because the way it's going, and maybe everyone is so busy they done forgot about that other case out there.
Yeah, that's true.
So I didn't even know about it. They don't talk about it, do they? How old is this case?
Apparently, if he was let out bail in September
of 24,
yes.
When Diddy went in, he went out.
Yep, you're so right.
Did he serve any time at all?
Let's see.
It's just sometimes things got lost because the United States have never dealt with a case like this. This is the first time, not a case like this. I'm sure not a case like this, but a case where the prosecutors have picked so much money was done, but they declined the offer. They didn't want it. So let's see how this play out. So I think overall, Diddy should be sad, yes, but I think he should feel good and he should still stay hopeful because whatever, this is good. This is a good thing. Even if he have to do 5 years, you'll be 60.
True.
You're not, if he does that, I'm still not feeling that. I don't think it's over. I don't, because I think they're going to plead it because under the law, apparently, under the law, this was never meant to be in the court that it was in. This was supposed to be taken to a domestic violence case court, something like that. So I think if it's an appeal, I think a lot is going to change. And I'm sure that once they get the verdict, I think that we're going to hear more. I think they're going to appeal and I think he's going to get out. Maybe he'll serve 3 months. Maybe he'll serve another 5 months, maybe 6 months. I'll let you know as we go on. And then I'll ask Miss Barney.
Yes, indeed.
Because she was even right about today. But because that 10 came out very emotional because it's cups and cups is about water. So even though emotional, because it was a 10, it's still a new beginning. And that's what it said in the other read. So I know he's going to be out. I think the last time, what was the card that we did last week? It was a 10. It probably was a 10 of cups. I don't remember.
It could have been a 10 of
but
cups.
It was a 10. So I know he's at the end of a cycle. I know that. He's at the end of the cycle. And whatever this is just this last, I believe, my opinion, is the last to give the people that is up in arms something to feel like, well, you got something out the deal. He didn't get to go home today. We declined him. So all you women out there and men that wanted, we gave them that, okay? And they're happy. And it's so curious how people could be rejoicing, but what if it was you? What if it was your son? Your daughter?
Yeah. But then people will hit you, well, it would never have been me.
Well, it would never be you, not on my watch. Not because I believe when you're loving your children, and I may be wrong, I can only talk from my experiences, but I think when you love your children and you're there for them and you listen to them and you spend time with them and you love on them and you dote on them and you discipline them and you be honest with them, I think you have good children because
Yeah,
I
definitely.
do. That's how I feel. What else is happening? What else they're saying?
Somebody said Diddy will definitely ask for an appeal.
Yes.
And maybe trying to get a pardon through Trump.
I can see all that. I just can't see him doing all this time. It especially now you done got me all messed up with that.
Yes, the Amber
with that white dude over there that done sodomized these men and drugged them. Especially when they took, what's that old man down, Bill Cosby, down for drugging women. It just seems like a double standard in this country.
It definitely
just seems like they feel sorry for the women, but they give no regard to men. And especially, I gotta say it, no judgment. A lot of these men today are very soft, very timid, very easy to bruise. Some of these men, many of these men, teeter-totter. They don't know if they want to be male. I'm talking about not gender. I'm talking about what is it? If it's not
the best way I put it is the way they want to express
themselves. Many men today, I've never seen this many men that want to be women. And then when you get over here, it's not easy, is it? It's not, is it? It's not easy when you have some brute taking your booty and drugging you. It's not easy when you go to court and all your stuff is out there. Women been going through this for years. Welcome to the womanhood and dealing with these crazy, can I say it? Crazy ass men.
Yes.
I don't care what color you are.
Yep, the grass isn't greener.
The grass is not greener over here. So if you come, you better want to be a woman, especially for all these men that are all these feminine men that are taking hormones because it softens you up. So where you could have been rough to take on a man, you can't. Where you used to could take a jar and pop it, you get blisters. You turn feminine because of the hormones. So welcome. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
It ain't easy.
No, it's hard out here for a pimp, y'all.
It ain't easy being a woman dealing with an abusive relationship. However, I believe that you draw who you are inside. If you come from that and that's what you know, then you're going to draw that kind of a man or that kind of a woman because you got women out there too. And what I heard about women, we don't talk a lot. Again, we talk about the gay men. We hardly ever talk about the abuse and the cheating and the lying and the fighting and the discourse that go on in lesbians' relationship.
Exactly.
They don't talk about that. They talk about the men though. Yes. But they don't give a man a pardon. They don't. They hard on men. And I think these rules need to change.
Yes.
I do.
Alicia, I hope I pronounced that right, said soft little boys that perpetrate as grown men.
Yes. Perfect. And I think like Diddy, they have been, I don't know what Diddy, because you can't tell me, I won't believe that Miss Cone has abused Diddy. I don't believe it. I don't think she beat him
like that at the beginning.
But I don't think she abused him. But what I do think, I think she put him in environments where he was abused as a child. She could have been a madam. She could have been a drug dealer. We don't know. But she's a fly fox. And that flyness didn't come because she got rich. She was always like that and dressed her son to the nines, is what I heard.
Yes, that's what I heard.
And that was on TMZ when they did the story.
Yep.
Yes. So he come from some kind of lifestyle. Or maybe Miss Crone, is her name Diddy Cone? Maybe Miss Cone, she was, ice cream. on a cone. And maybe she was dealing with that rock or white stuff. Who knows?
Who knows?
But where he got whooped like that, because you got to be something wrong with you if you can even slap a woman. But don't forget, it is alleged that Will Smith disfigured Jada's face. Don't forget that he disfigured her face, and he brought in a doctor, and they kept it under wraps, and he fixed her nose. Allegedly.
Yeah, now that was apparently beat to the pulp.
And another thing, and here is another man that is allegedly bisexual.
Yeah, it's facts.
And he said his father was very abusive. There it is.
Yep, there's a pattern here.
That's what I'm saying. And that's my generation.
Abuse people.
That's up in my years. So that's why I said back in those days, it was like children. That. Huh?
I said, God help us children, the children that we give birth to next, because it's just.
No, because your generation, they got rules to stop that. You know, it is not acceptable. As a matter of fact, I don't think that is, because there was a time, even I think back in the 70s, I don't know when men could beat you up and the cops will come and say, what happened? Like you deserved it. Those days are done. There is help. That's why I'm saying there are help with them. There has been help out there at least ever since the 90s.
True, fair enough.
90s, there was help. So I find it hard to deal with these two beautiful. One, I think that Cassie is mixed or something. She's an exotic.
Yeah.
And then there's a white woman. And when are these black men going to learn? Leave these ones alone. But they drawn to the pretty ones, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They drawn to the good hair and the lighter skin. Honestly, I know I shouldn't be talking, but I came from a blackety black family. You heard me?
You heard?
I come from blackness, okay? I was the lightest one in my family. I did not come from
mixed background.
No, I'm mixed, but I was like a hidden baby. I stood out in the crowd when I was coming up, you know, and I struggled, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You have no idea. But that's probably why I am the way I am. So I say all this, not because I dislike them or I don't have no heart for, especially Cassie. It's just the fact that you can't convince me you couldn't have left. You just can't convince me of it. And you stayed there and you participated and you had an act in it and you participated. You was a part of it. And now you're scared. I just have issues with that. So don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm glad she's out. I'm glad she's flourishing. And I'm glad she's doing that. She's getting on her feet. Now, Jane, and another thing I don't like it where they can hide their names. That's not right. My opinion. Anything else?
No, that was all.
How many minutes have we been talking? I've been rambling, buying time.
An hour.
An hour?
Yes.
Jesus. So anything you like to say?
Sadly, this doesn't seem like it's the end of the Diddy case. We still have a few more days. We sadly
that's for his sentencing.
Yes. So sadly, we do have to come back after the 4th of July and talk about this afterwards.
Yes.
But I guess do the jurors have to come back? Are they still
I don't
obligated?
think I don't know, but okay. I don't think so. I think their job is done.
Oh, okay.
And if I was them, I'd be like, ooh, exactly. Ooh, I don't want to sit up there. God knows I couldn't sit up there for 6, 7, 8 hours. Oh Lord, no, it couldn't be me.
I wonder how that deliberation was going.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I know. To be one of those people in there to hear the conversation.
12 angry people in a room trying to come to some kind of agreement. Facts. You know. So anyway, like I said again, Miss Bonnie didn't lie, And because of that 10, I'm going to stick with that. I'm
Mhm.
saying it now. I know he's going to get time. How much he served, how long it takes them to go through it, how long it takes to get through the system, how long it could be 3 months, it could be to get an appeal, to get a date, to keep it steady that they don't fall back or he don't get sick or da 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 da. But I do believe he's going to get out. I don't know. I could say, I'm saying within a year or 3 years, if that.
Okay.
I just can't see it going any longer than that, especially after I heard about this other nutcase that they let out
Oh yeah.
to do more damage. That's so unfair. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And it's just that some women that have been so abused by men that they just hate men. And there are some women that has gone through so much with men that they want every man to suffer because of where they come from. And I'm glad that I'm free from that because my mom taught us to get up and run. Don't stay in that for nothing. Don't let nobody sell you no wooden nickels, whatever that means. And that's what my mom told me. That's not real. Yeah. And we stay in it for all the reasons. And we sit back at the end of the day. Many women blame everybody for why the rain fell down on me. They sing the Nelly for them. That Nelly for Nelly song, I can't think of it right now, but they sing that song and they want the world to feel sorry for them. And I just know with the world the way it is, there are a lot of bitter women out here, bitter, that has been scarred by men deeply. And apparently it's going to be a lot of men. So at the end of the day, you masculine men, y'all have a bad rap.
Y'all really do.
Fix it. And what I'm starting to see, a lot of them have homosexual tendencies.
I bet they would.
I mean, Diddy.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Yes.
I mean, why would Will Smith stay in a relationship like that and let a woman treat him in such an inhumane way?
I honestly
She treated him like a dog.
I honestly think that this has been growing and been on the rise because
or it's just coming out the doors.
Right, because beforehand it was, I think it used to be termed toxic masculinity, where you were just so overly overt masculine.
Yeah.
That it was like toxic. You're just like, nobody is that masculine or that male,
that
dominant.
Yes,
but
they
now
are.
It seems like it has switched, that those people that were toxic masculinity were using that as a facade to hide maybe a softer persona. So they were over exaggerating.
And became from abusive relationships. Maybe their mothers fond of them, their aunts, their nieces, made them do fellatio on them, and the men didn't like it, and they grew up. It's something wrong, but that's okay. I leave you with this. Right now, the world, the whole world, the universe, not the universe, but the earth is going through a shift.
Yes.
This is a shift of consciousness.
We need to change.
Either you change or you perish. If it was up to me, I would let drugs be free. And those that get off, get off. And those that die, I'm sorry, because the shift is going to happen. Whether we're going to go through, it's going through, because we're all vibrating to a higher consciousness. And those, you see people hearts, you see so many things out in the world all over. We're in flux, we're fighting only because we're rising to a higher dimension, and we're rising up to the 5th and 6th dimension.
Yes.
And it's going to be rough, but they say, according to astrologers, that this is supposed to taper off around 2027.
Yep, that has been the rumor out there. That's where they coined the term. When
it's not over.
No,
because it takes a long time. But like people like me and people like you are rising your consciousness. You don't feel that way. You feel like it's a better way to deal with something, where once upon a time you would, the Diddies, their minds will change. They're growing up. They're not growing up in order to adapt. Your body also is adapting. And also when they coming down with a lot of medicine now, a lot of these medicines have to do with what is it, injects what they call
Yeah, infusions.
infusions. See, everything is changing, and it's a shift, and it's changing. So brace yourself, because we're on a bumpy ride.
We are. I was thinking about, weirdly enough, I was thinking about doing a video about that, just
Please.
talking about the rise of AI or technology.
Please. That's your juice. That's what you go to
since
school
we're
for.
in the age of Aquarius, the air sign and technology, and we're moving up to 6G.
We're moving. And even in our lives, we see it by the phones and cable. Everything is moving swiftly and fast, but we're moving. And it's about consciousness. It's about energy. It's about frequency. And one of the things, before I go, one of the things that I learned from someone that was on TV, a past life, he said, now you don't have to buy it, but it makes sense to me.
All right.
He said, there is no such thing as karma, because when you're in frequency, it's like a radio. When you turn on a station, either you're going to get or you're going to get on that station you want. And when you're in that station, if you're negative, you're going to draw negativity to you. Like Diddy, he's getting what he turned on that frequency. Yeah. This is the frequency. And look at Cassie. She's going to get, they all going to get, because they on that frequency. Unless they change their mind and elevate, they're stuck on that static, low vibration frequency. And I choose not to live there. I don't want it in my life. I want to have compassion. I want to be merciful. And even though people like, oh, they hate me for, I don't want to be like you, because I want that frequency. I want to be on a higher vibration. So when the shift comes, we're ready. I'm ready. And that's how I suggest everyone to be. It's a frequency. Raise your vibration. Get out of that low level vibration. You stay in there. That's what you're going to draw to you. And that's what you are. That's who you are, because that's what you listen to. Remember, you are what you eat. Yes, you are what you are what you eat. You are what you drink. You are. Yes. And if you don't want it, rise up out of that. And that's why I say with them, look at the frequency they on. Yeah. And look at all the people that says, kill them, stone them. They on that low vibrational frequency. You can't tell them they're not, but they are. Because we should be about love, because that's what's going to change all of this. And those that do will and grow, and those that don't will fall off. And that's just the way it is. And it's going to become more intense. Why? Because we're getting older, all of us. You may be 30 today. You may be 25. You may be 45, 55, 65, 75, 85, 95, 100, 105. However, you are going to die. And you don't want to die in your frequency. It's about elevation. And I want to leave you with that. And that's what I'm all about. I want to be a good-hearted person. I want to be a good heart. So when I give out good energy, when I see that negativity, I can move away from that, what is it? Negative frequency. We can do it. We can do it. But everybody are their own gods. So you have to do it for you. And it's not easy, because it's like a junkie trying to get off of the ways of the world, all the things that you was taught, everything that you was born and raised, and whether you rich or poor, this has no number value. This is not money. It's not a money system. This is a mind and a soul system. We have to grow up. And so when I see all these people saying, oh, I just want them, and I can see why it was like, oh boy, we better not let him out. I mean, because and sometimes we do things. The judge had to make it was up to the judge. Yes, it was. The judge could have said yay or nay, but the judge chose, and I get why. Because you want to please people. You're not saying it, You just want to say, okay, we got him off of this, we got him off of that. Okay, we do this. That's just giving it too much. Let's just ease down and let these girls and let everybody feel the way they feel and let them feel like they got something out the deal. Let's not let him go home for the 4th of July. That's how I see it. But that's my opinion. And you know what they say about opinions, but it's about raising and elevating your mind and your soul. Anything you want to say? And I think you should do one on that, please. And if I'm available, I'll sit in on it with you. But I hope that you enjoyed this coming along. But he did not make bail. And next Tuesday, he will go up for his sentencing. I hear people say, it's anyway from 10 to 20 years. I'm like, God dang, can't you just say 10, 15? They're not going to throw the book at him. That is so, can't you see the unfairness in that? Especially if you're talking about this other guy. So you know I'm going to know more about it. So when we meet again, I think I'll know a little bit more about that. What's his name?
I have to look exactly into his name, but he was the owner, CEO of Amber Cross.
Oh, he was a CEO? See, Tommy Power don't still live in this country. All of this is a shift. All of it is changing. You know, all of it. And you know what? And we may not see a full change. Right now, we're in a quarter of a century. And here we have the Black man, the face of deviant sexual S&M behavior. These Black men are coming out the walls like roaches. Shannon Sharp, Tyler Perry, Art Kelly. I can't name them all. You all know who they are. And they crawling out like roaches. And where are everybody else? The Black man has to be the poster board for this kind of behavior. And until they raise their vibration, no Jesus, no faith, nothing is going to save you but you. And with that being said, I didn't mean to get spiritual, but that's the only way that I could feel about it. And peace to everyone. Raise your vibration. Change your heart. Try not to be so bitter. Don't be an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. You do me, so I'm going to get you. Raise your vibration. Be above it. Matter of fact, flee from evil and it'll flee from you. And with that, change your radio dial. Put it on a different frequency and think bigger, and things will come around for you, and you will be able to heal yourself. You'll be able to see things change, and you won't see things the same. It's a great change in that. Please consider these words.
Yes, indeed.
And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed us. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Boom. Just like that, and you would do tremendous for us. And if you haven't became a sunflower to spread love, peace, and the seeds, because sunflowers have about 4,000 seeds. And can you imagine? They feed the birds, they feed us. You know, it's a fruit that gives a life. And so that's why we call ourselves sunflowers, because we believe in light. And we wore our yellow to represent the sunflower, not Diddy's victory, because he had a victory, but that's not what it was. It was because Miss Barney made us true. And we were on bated breath, weren't we, baby?
Yes, we definitely were.
So with that being said, we so enjoyed you. We hope we didn't take up much of your time, but it is there for you. We wish you peace, love, and a whole lot of happiness.
Yes.
And so with that, you know what we say. Thumb us up, subscribe if you haven't, or if you like this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Or play us forward, or leave a comment.
Yes.
And with that being said, you know we love you.
Yes.
Sunflowers.